Hi, and welcome to week 4 of our teen yoga series. Today we are going to talk about the heart a little bit and gratitude. So welcome to everyone. If you are watching from home and want to press pause for a moment to go grab something, we are going to use in our week 3, I had like a folded up, you could use a towel, a blanket, an extra yoga mat, a small pillow, anything like that. It just kind of to offer ourselves a little extra support for our knees. And then we are going to do a little extra practice creating our restorative fish. So you can hear my cats are excited to start our practice. So I'm going to move into the slideshow. And I loved this quote. We're going to talk about gratitude today, and that aligns really well with the heart. A lot of people think about feeling gratitude from the heart. And that's going to just kind of be the focus of this session. I chose this particular quote because it's part of the anxiety practice that we are going to offer ourselves today as well. In yoga, we say we choose to keep ourselves in the present because dwelling on the past can cause us to feel down, and focusing on the future can cause us to feel worried or anxious. We can experience optimal health and well-being when we choose to stay present in the moment and enjoy the experiences that are happening to us at this point in time. And it's not always easy, so we call it a practice. And that's one of the reasons why we like to create breath work and connect it with our physical movement. It helps keep us in the moment and connected with what our bodies are experiencing in that space. We're going to take a moment here to practice what we call heart-centered breathing. So if you're comfortable and you're in a position that you can, I'm sitting up. You're welcome to sit, you're welcome to lie down. Both are fine. If you're standing, that's fine too. I'm going to place one hand on my heart and the other hand's just going to relax, nice and easy. And we're going to start to connect the breath gently with the heart. So feeling that gentle rise and fall. Last week we did some intentional belly breathing. So if it works for you, we can take that other hand and now place it on the belly and feel that little connection between the two. Feeling them open as we inhale. Maybe even think about lifting. And then exhale, feeling them return back to that midline. Sometimes it can take a few breaths to start to be able to find that connection. So just being mindful here as you create that space for yourself. And anytime we practice breath work, you are welcome to close your eyes and offer yourself the opportunity to ignore some of those external distractions. And then while we're in this space doing this gentle breath practice, if you are able to do so, just start to maybe bring to mind something you're grateful for. It can be a person, it can be an event, an experience, an opportunity. I'm recording this on a beautiful sunny day and it has been cold, so I am very grateful for this warm air and sunshine. And then we'll take another exhale, and then we'll allow the hands to relax just for a moment. And just noticing maybe how we feel. Sometimes that experience of gratitude can help us to just feel overall better. And then we're going to offer ourselves some heart opening poses. So I love these because you can do them anywhere. You can do them when you're seated, when you're watching television. It's just a nice little break in your day that you can add. So we practiced moving the spine in all 6 directions before. So we're going to basically do that, but we're really just going to focus on kind of the rib cage and up. I like to bring my hands to my shoulders. I think it just helps me feel a little better connected there. Makes that lever a little shorter. And the elbows are just kind of straight out from the side. And I'm sitting in a chair with no arms. So Kind of just depends on the position that you're in the chair that you're using. And so we're just going to kind of rotate gently to the right and then to the left, and then just a little back and forth movement. So we're kind of warming up our side body here. Maybe feel some gentle stretching through our rib cage. And then we'll come back into like that nice neutral position, and then a little bit of gentle twisting. So I'm kind of stopping because my elbow is hitting the back of my chair, but I could always scoot forward, except I have the computer in front of me. And again, just kind of some gentle movement, really targeting the rib cage and up. And then back into that more neutral position. And then we can think about that cat-cow practice here. So as we tuck in, we can let our chin fall to our chest, elbows kind of move in towards each other. And then drawing the elbows back, maybe lifting the heart, maybe lifting the gaze. So just a little back and forth movement here. And you can even think to yourself, inhale, exhale, and that allows us to remain a little more present. And then we'll finish on that inhale, nice big open heart. And then we'll melt the hands back down. And again, just a gentle pause. Allow ourselves to kind of check in. So next is going to be our anxiety practice for this week. Some of you may be familiar with this. I find a lot of people know it. Some people have heard of it, but don't necessarily know the actual practice. So I refer to it, excuse me, as 5 things you can see. So our hand is a great tool to use because we have 5 fingers. A lot of times it's great if you feel something like a panic attack coming on, or you're overly anxious, or you need to bring yourself back to the present. And you don't have to do this for yourself. If you're with someone who is struggling with anxiety right then, and you need to help ground them, you can help cue them through this. It's a great tool to use. So we're going to start with 5, and we're going to name 5 things you can see. So of course, we are all in different spaces. So feel free to just kind of look around the room. I will name what works for me, just in the space that I'm in. So I can see my computer, I can see my cat, I can see the wall in front of me, I can see my water bottle, I can see the blanket that I was holding up, and I can see my notes. So those are 5 things I can see. And then 4 things you can touch. So we've got vision, and then our next sense we're going to go in is the sense of touch. So if you look around the room, what are 4 things, if you wanted to put your hands on it, that you could touch? So I can touch my desk. I can touch my computer mouse. I can touch my shirt. I can touch my hair. So those are 4 things that I can touch. And then we're going to go with 3 things you can hear, which of course is a little different for everybody. So I can hear my cat. I can hear my computer, and I can hear a fan running. 2 things you can smell. I am able to smell some peppermint oil that I was diffusing earlier. And I can also smell the lotion that I put on. And then 1 thing you can taste. So I'm able to taste my toothpaste is still kind of lingering in my mouth from when I brushed my teeth. So as you move through the 5 fingers, you just have to remember it's your senses. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And that's easy to look up. If you Google 5 things you can see, you'll find that. And then we're going to go ahead and look. Here are some of the heart opening poses. We're not going to practice all of these today, but these are some nice options. If you want to look up instructions for them, you can. We are going to practice our camel pose. We did a variation of our cobra pose last week, but those are all nice poses. I think heart poses just kind of help us feel energized and happy. So we like to create those sensations, and a well-balanced heart chakra helps us to love ourselves well, to love others well, to offer kindness and empathy, acceptance, forgiveness, and compassion. So that's one of the reasons why we might incorporate a heart opening practice into our day. So we're going to move to our movement practice now. So if you don't already have like a blanket or something, or don't have your mat, feel free to press pause, go ahead and grab it quickly. I'm going to set up my room. I need to adjust my camera a little bit and move my chair. So you will hear me doing that. And then we'll make our way to our practice. And I'm going to exit the slideshow. There we go. Okay. So we are going to start in our traditional mountain pose. We've practiced this a lot. So I'm standing kind of sideways on my mat. You can turn whichever direction works for you. And we're going to come back into some intentional breath work. So if you'd like to place your hands on your heart, you're welcome to do so. Just going to gently inhale and exhale, kind of start to check in with our body. See how we're feeling. Maybe going back to week 1, connecting with that foundation as we root into our feet. And then we're going to come back into those thoracic movements that we did just from a standing position and maybe see if it feels a little different. So really everything below the ribcage is going to stay pretty still. It might move some. That's okay if it does. But our really targeted focus is on moving through the ribcage and up. So I'm going to bring my hands back to my shoulders here. And then just kind of start with that side to side movements. And then we'll come back to neutral. And then that gentle twisting movement. And back to neutral. And then our little cat-cow version here. So opening on that inhale, drawing in on our exhale. Connecting breath with movement. And then we'll finish in that expanded open position. Go ahead and shake our arms out. We're going to warm through those big muscle groups a little bit here. We've done our mountain chair forward fold. If you haven't been here with us before, we reach tall into that extended mountain. With an exhale, we sink into our chair pose. Check that we can see our toes. Our hands can stay close or move around a little bit. And then with our next inhale, we come back to mountain. And then on our exhale, we move into our forward fold. So we'll flow that a few times. You can flow with your breath. Really just trying to move arms and legs in a big way to create a little warmth. And then we'll meet in our mountain. And then we're going to come into what we call chest expansion. So we're just kind of standing in a nice upright position. And we are going to interlace the fingers and kind of press them back. So we'll feel this kind of open our heart, keeping your elbows with at least a little bit of bend. They can have a lot of bend if you'd like. Maybe lifting our heart, lifting our gaze. And then we're going to go ahead and shake those arms out. So I have my mat turned a little sideways so you can see me as I move through my practice. I do have that extra blanket here to protect my knees when I make my way to the floor. You're welcome to use it if you want. You do not have to. I just have a hardwood floor and it offers me that little extra layer. So we'll sweep the arms tall again, come back into our mountain, and with our exhale, creating our forward fold. And then we are going to step one foot back. I'm going to step my left foot back and go ahead and drop that left knee down to the earth, coming into our kneeling lunge here. So go ahead and just kind of settle in, make sure the right knee is above or behind the ankle so it's nice and protected. And then I'm going to let my left hand rest. I'm going to rotate a little bit so I'm more visible. I'm going to let my left hand rest on my right thigh. And I'm going to place my right hand just kind of on the back of the head here. And doing a little bit of opening and closing here. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate to the right. So I'm turning towards the leg that's forward. And then as I exhale, I'll kind of close, draw that elbow in. So the elbow can kind of lead the way here. A little bit of movement for the heart, for the spine. And then finishing kind of on that exhale, we'll go ahead and bring the hand down. And then we're going to take this into a gentle twist if you'd like. So if you want to stay in a more upright position, you can put your hands on your hips or your heart. Just kind of rotate. Again, we'll rotate towards the leg that's forward. You could also bring your hand down to the mat here. You can stay there or you can extend that other arm. And then we use an exhale to bring the hand back to the earth. So we're in that lower lunge here. And we're going to step ourselves back. So if you want to come into child's pose, you can. If you want to come into down dog, you can. Both are great options. Take a minute here. And then we're just going to switch that up. So we'll bring opposite leg through. So I'm going to bring my left leg through this time. Drop my right knee to that extra layer of protection. Take a moment to kind of settle into the pose. And then I'm going to place right hand on that left thigh. My left hand's going to come behind the head. And I'm going to open as I rotate to the left and kind of close as I rotate to the right. And I'll meet on that exhale. And then if you'd like to move into that twist, again, we can keep ourselves upright, hands to heart. We'll rotate towards that left leg, or you could drop that right hand to the inside and maybe even extend that left arm. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring that hand down. And again, we're going to step ourselves back. We can find child's pose. We can find down dog. Just kind of enjoy a couple of nice, easy breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're going to step ourselves back into our forward fold. We'll extend tall in that mountain. Hands floating back into our heart. So we're going to come into our 5-pointed star. We practice this when we do our sunflowers. And we'll do just a couple sunflowers. They're kind of warm. So with our inhale, we sweep those arms fall. And then with our exhale, hands just kind of draw themselves towards the mat. Sweeping that a few times. And we'll meet at the top. So we're going to create our triangle pose here, and we're going to offer ourselves some heart opening options from triangle pose. So our left foot's going to stay pretty still. We're going to actually turn our right toes so that they are turned towards the short edge of your mat here. And we're going to let that right hand kind of slide down the leg, and our left arm's going to reach tall. So this is our triangle pose. You can melt down a little further if you want. We just want to make sure we keep our left shoulder stacked on top of our right. And then if you wanted to add that little heart opening like we did from our lunge, we'll place that left hand on the back of the head. Inhale as the elbow reaches, and exhale as we draw it down. And we'll meet on that inhale here. And then we'll go ahead and extend that left arm. And if you want to add a little more heart opening, we'll drop the left hand behind the low back. Maybe feeling just a nice, easy stretch through that left shoulder. And we'll inhale as we rise tall. Come back to face that front edge. Toes probably pointing towards the corners of your mat. And then when you're ready, we're going to move that into the opposite side. So our left toes will point towards the short edge. Right toes probably staying where they're at. Knees nice and soft. And we'll start to slide that left hand down, finding triangle on this side. So we'll melt down. And then if you'd like to extend that right arm, you can. Again, we're just stacking shoulders. And if you'd like to add that gentle heart opening, we'll float the right hand just behind the head, elbow opening with our inhale, drawing closed with our exhale. We'll meet in our upright position. Go ahead and lengthen that right arm. And then if we'd like to come into that little shoulder stretch, we'll let the right hand float behind the low back, opening some gentle space there. And then we'll take our time relaxing our arms, making our way back into that upright position. So we're going to come into that warrior three practice here. Our variation we're going to add today is going to be the chance to kind of open gently through the heart. So I have a desk close by. I know I'm going to use my arms here, so I'm going to maybe use that desk for a little support if I need it. So remembering your warrior three can change from week to week. Just embrace whatever it looks like. Just a second, I'm getting a little message here. So we are going to find whatever feels good. We're going to root into the feet, create that nice stable base. And then with our warrior three, we can choose to ease our leg back to start, or we can melt our torso forward first. Both are great options. We're going to make our way into kind of that one-legged stance. And then I have my right leg back. So I'm going to go ahead and place my right hand on my heart. So I could place my left hand on the wall or the desk or my leg, whatever works for you here. And then if you wanted to go ahead and kind of open gently through the heart, you can think about letting that right elbow raise to the sky. And that's just going to give us a little heart opening. And then we'll bring everything back into more of a neutral position. And we're just going to switch it up. So take your time realigning. Again, maybe we hinge first. Maybe the leg moves back first. We'll rotate into the opposite leg. And then whichever leg is back, if you want to place that hand on the heart, and then offer yourself a little bit of rotation, elbow opening. And moving gently from there, letting that go. We're going to practice one more pose from this standing position. Again, just a nice heart opening. So we'll root into our feet. We're going to sweep our arms tall, and then just a nice gentle back bend. So you can think about reaching your fingertips towards the back of the room. We don't ever want to create any pain. So being mindful of what feels good, not think about compressing the spine, but think about reaching through the arms. And then we'll exhale. We'll let that go. We are going to make our way to the floor here. So this is where if you want to add that extra layer to protect your knees, you're welcome to do so. We'll find all fours to start. And we're going to flow through our cat-cow just a couple of times. So we'll tuck gently into our cat, creating that arch in the spine, and then shifting to our cow, kind of dipping the spine out. And we'll finish with a cow, and then we're going to add a little variation here. So if you would like to place the layer under your knee, we're going to keep one knee down. I'm going to keep my left knee down. I'm going to bring my right foot out to the side. It might rest on the mat. It might rest on the floor. Either are fine. And then we'll move through that cat-cow here. It's just going to change the shape of the body a little bit. And if you don't like it with that leg extended, you can always bring it back in and just do this from all fours. And we'll finish with our cow pose. We're going to bring our spine back to neutral, and then we're going to go ahead and walk our hands over to the left. So they're moving away from that foot. This is going to let us come into our kneeling side plank. And I'll give you some options you're welcome to play with here. We want to keep that left elbow nice and soft so that we're not creating damage in the joint there. If you want to extend your right arm tall, you can. Another option is to lift that right leg in that kneeling side plank. And if you wanted to move into a full side plank, you can bring your left foot out to meet your right. Your hand can go wherever feels most supportive for you. And then whatever you chose, we'll take our time making our way back to the earth. We're going to walk ourselves back to that front edge of the mat and then just switch it up. So our left foot will slide out. You're doing the opposite. We'll flow our cat-cow a few times here. And then we'll finish with that cow. Come back to neutral, and we're going to walk the hands to the right this time. So as we ease into that kneeling side plank, we might choose to extend that left arm. We might lift that left leg. And we also have that option of moving into that full side plank as the right foot comes out to meet the left. And when you're ready, we'll exhale everything back to the earth. Walk ourselves back to the front of the mat. Sinking back, finding our child's pose here. So connecting with the breath here, easing into that space. And then making our way back to camel, which we practiced last week. This is where, again, if you want that extra layer under your knees, we're going to float the knees to that. Take our time. I like to tuck my tailbone down so the low back's nice and protected. And then you're welcome to rest your hands on your hips. You can create fists and place them on the low back. You're going to kind of press the belly forward, open the heart to the sky. You want to look up, you can. Just make sure you can find your breath here. And then we'll come back to a neutral spine, relax the arms. One more child's pose. You can stay on the blanket if you're on it. We're gonna offer ourselves the option of opening through the arms and shoulders just a little bit here. So if you wanna walk your arms out in front, you can, and you can leave them there. Another option, not sure how visible my arms are, is where we can gently bend at the elbows. Maybe bring the palms together and just kind of let them rest behind the head. And then from here, we're going to start to make our way to Shavasana. So I'd like to offer you an additional pose for Shavasana. You can choose whatever works for you. This is just kind of a variation on our what we call restorative fish. So I have this blanket. Of course, you could use a towel or a pillow or anything like that. And I'm going to lie down so that it is right across the middle of my back. And that is what makes it a gentle heart opener. So it may not be very visible in the video, but I think it's easier to bring it back where you want it and then come onto the floor. And you should probably feel like your heart is kind of the highest point on your body here. If your knees need to be bent to help you feel supported, that's perfectly fine. If you are choosing to keep those legs up, I always like to rest the knees against each other, feet walking away so that the legs don't have to work quite so hard. But you can always extend the legs or find a butterfly. You get to choose. So go ahead and take a moment to set up into this restorative fish if you'd like. I'm going to come closer to the computer. I'm going to talk us through a little guided relaxation. And as always, as you finish, you are welcome to stay in that pose of rest as long as you'd like. So as you settle in to whichever pose you have chosen for Shavasana, feel free to place the hands on the heart here or the belly, or one on each. And we'll just take a few breaths to gently reconnect. Sometimes as we move through our physical practice, it will shift our breath. It's nice just to check back in. And then we'll start to move through a little gratitude practice. So we are going to begin to be grateful for our feet. So bringing to mind your feet, and you can think about the amazing things that your feet are able to do. And then we'll move that gratitude into our legs. And then being grateful for our torso, maybe just the gift of breath, all of the important functions that take place inside our abdomen, our heart that beats all on its own. Being grateful for our hands, grateful for our arms, and then grateful for all the things that take place in our head, our face, the sensory organs, and then just being grateful for the bodies that we are blessed with and the amazing things they're able to do. So as we begin to stay in that state of relaxation, if you would like to continue your gratitude practice, I invite you to make your way through the alphabet, starting with A and naming something that you're grateful for that starts with the letter A. Working your way all the way through the alphabet. It's an excellent practice to find.